Okay, recording.
Do you want to just say those words again, Sam?
Yeah, what did I say? Yeah, what today is about is yeah, stealing from the melody, but in rhythmically and harmonically. I guess that's what you'd say. So, but yeah, rather than just thinking, oh no, I've got a solo over all these chords. Actually, use them. Milk the melody for as much as you can. Um, just about all the time when I play a solo, I usually quote the melody, or sometimes you even just start with the melody and just kind of gradually get further away from it. But that melody is your kind of launching pad. Um,
I'm writing all these down like I did last time. I'll send you all a list of Sam's wonderful quotes.
oh, I think we put a few things on the website like words of wisdom from. Sometimes all you have to
That's
do
the
for a
sheet.
great.
That's the sheet I made up last time.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. Yeah, but it is kind of true. Sometimes all you have to do for a great solo is embellish the melody, which is really true. If you just if it's your solo and you just do a nice version of the melody, everyone will love you. um, Learn the melody well, and then try some of these things, which we'll kind of go through a bit. Keep the same shape but change the notes, so you're kind of linking that way. Add chords to melody notes. That's a real like for Autumn Leaves, you go really obvious thing rather than just going. You're going, and that's a to me that's one of the ukulele's real strengths is when you've got a melody note on that high string, it kind of just cries out to have and when it's the last note that rings out, it just you kind of can't help but not do it. Yeah, add notes within the melody phrase, but keep the important notes. So the kind of first and the last are the important ones in a way. So we go that kind of thing. So you can still hear that it's Autumn Leaves, but it's a bit messed up in the middle. We've got a little exercise with all these kind of written down that we can try to add notes at the beginning or end of the phrase. So we could go. So I'm just adding a little a little twirly thing at the end. It's because it's kind of low. The melody starts low. Sometimes you want to run up to the first note because it's low. I feel it's better to do something at the end.
And you have to be aware of the scale that you're using as well, I would think, too. E.g., obviously you can just pick notes out of the melody, but if you want to have a better idea of where you need to go, then you have to be aware of what scale the song is based around.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's kind of your starting point, and then if you're kind of running out of notes running out of time, but need to put in more. If they're played quickly, you can kind of get away with other chromatic notes. But yeah, the scale that's your starting point for any additional notes you want to put in. On the other one, yeah, like add chords or phrases in the gaps of the melody. So both these tunes we're going to look at today have got, in fact, all of them have got kind of long gaps. So you've got more gap than you've actually got melody. So, and this kind of comes back to like kind of big band music a bit, or that's how I used to steal lots of big band stuff for guitar, and like that might be what the trombones play, but the trumpets or say that might be a saxophone line, and the brass would go. They do a kind of an answering phrase, and you get a nice contrast because that's just a single note, and then the answering is a great big fat chord, and it's a different rhythm, so it's a nice full kind of sound, even if you just do. Just and I kind of can't help myself doing that kind of thing most of the time.
And that was just following the chords written on the sheet, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
and
not
it's
even changing the inversion all that much.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and if you do it on a chord, so we've some of that's written in Autumn Leaves, and especially in Mac the Knife, we've got some of that written in, and so the more melodies you learn, the more you'll have in your improv tank. Okay, that's it. Must be true. Yeah, but yeah, that's completely true because you learn melodies. Someone's really agonised over the shape of those phrases. They're really, they've got great form, like repetition, especially Autumn Leaves. There's so many little phrases that are just the same. So the more of those that you've got kind of in your subconscious, they'll just work, gradually work their way into the solos.
One of my favourite things that's just already part of a melody, a part of the melody of it, is how it has like that sequence of notes that just repeats but then starts a note lower each time. You're doing the...
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing, but each time it goes down one note,
Down low,
which is a really nice thing you can throw anywhere, really.
So I'm just having a look at what the sheets we've got. We've got. Is there an actual sheet just for Autumn Leaves in its entirety, or is it where?
There should be. There's an Autumn Leaves chord sheet, and then there's an Autumn Leaves melody sheet as well, and they should be right next to each other.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's one of so the one I've got, okay, melody. Because maybe we should all just play it once, and then we can just do then we'll do the messing with the melody. Is that a good idea, Jane, do you think? So we'll just play the song. So has everyone got I think it's one of Jane's sheets, just the melody? All good? So I'll just test this backing track. Okay. So I'll do a little count. We hear a few clicks, then it'll be 2, 3, 4, 1. So we'll just play it and just we won't try and do anything fancy this first time. 2, 3, 4, 1. And again. Sorry, I did a couple of bum notes in there, but I've got too many windows open on my Zoom.
So you were just messing with the melody, Sam.
No, well, I was trying not to. Yeah, but like you just really want. Let's have a. If you get the sheet messing with the melody now, and we'll just have a look at some of the. I've just put a whole lot of different ways of just to play that first phrase, but it'll kind of apply to all those phrases that are that same shape. Everyone got that that messing with the melody? So, because you notice when we played it, then it's very kind of prim and proper. It's everything's on the beat. But the first thing, especially kind of jazz tinge players, will like syncopate the melody, and usually that just means, especially when you've got notes on the beat, you're just moving them either half a beat back or forward. So instead of 1, you get 2, 3, 4, 1. So we're coming in a little bit early, and we're finishing a bit early as well. So I'll just count in. We'll just try that a few times. So after 1, you're really kicking that note. So 1, rather than going 1, boom. It's like 1, dong. We're kind of straight in. We'll play that a few times. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. And just for a sec, we'll do it with the normal way. So on the beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. Now syncopated. 2, 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. So you can get the idea is you kind of feel the difference. One just gives a bit of kind of, hey, I'm in town tonight.
There's a lot more interesting.
Isn't it funny?
To
Like
listen to.
it kind of just feels like that. I don't know why moving something half a beat would make you think of champagne and kind of tuxedos, but it just does. It's like, so the next one, we're kind of adding notes between the melody notes. So rather than we're kind of turning them all into quavers. So 2, 3. We'll just do that slowly if you like. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. All we're really doing is adding in that D note. It's between the melody notes. If you look at the one directly above it, we're just adding in a second fret D note between the melody notes. But yeah, it's just a good little effect to create a bit more interest. Changing so number 4, changing the melody, the notes, but keeping the same shape. And I've just noticed that when I say the same shape, I'm using the syncopated shape, showing my natural bias to the. So instead of, so we're keeping that shape. We're going 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. Hey, should we be crazy and try all those 4 in kind of together? Go nice and slow. All right. 2. So starting with number 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Because in this tune you got, I think it's 3 phrases all the same. You could do that kind of thing where, for the first phrase you apply, try trick number 3. The second phrase you try, because if you do the same one each time, it's you might want to vary it.
And this is just one example of each of those things, isn't it? So there are so many other ways to experiment with what Sam's just showed you. It's a very wide open world. These are just like the basic ideas and examples, and then you can take it and try lots of other new things as well.
But what we're really doing is we're really we're kind of hugging that melody, and we're kind of getting as much out of it as we can before we have to bother ourselves with anything else. You know what I mean? So once you've bleached everything out of the melody we can, then we can think of. But there's so much to extract from the melody. I guess that's the kind of point, really. Like, and with that you could, doing this kind of stuff, you can kind of create a solo without really going that far from the melody. Let's try that. Yeah, so here's the one I was kind of talking about, number 5, where we put a chord at the end. So it's like, and it's a syncopated one. 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. So that's a great thing just to keep in mind for all kinds of songs that you play. Just when the melody ends on that high string, just put a chord behind it. Helps it kind of ring through the gap. Add notes. So number 6, add notes at start or end in this case. So 2, 3, 4, 1. 4, 1. 4, 1. 4, 1. So that, if you did that the second time through or something, that would just add a good little bit of difference. Number 7, add chords in the gaps. Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about before, the kind of big band style. Just see what that crazy chord is. So we get 3, 4, 1. So that's, and that, it doesn't have to be that exact rhythm, but that's just gives a little bit of contrast and fills up the gaps. And someone got a question? I can hear. Oh no.
Oh, sorry, that's just me.
Oh no, just
shifting around.
If anyone ask anything, if I'm just kind of rambling on, but
So just a quick thing, Jane, on my messing with the melody sheet that I got from last time, it's different in number 6. Yeah, okay.
I'll make sure you're unmute, Jane.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Last time we had a typo on that, but I'm
Okay.
now worried that everybody has. When Sam played number 6, did you have 2011 in that? It's still the bad. Okay, Right. Thanks, Michelle.
I had scribbled it in. We must have corrected it last time. It's
Yeah.
in pencil.
Okay,
No, I
so
don't have it.
I'll get Okay, I'll take a look for the correct sheet on that. We're obviously still circulating the wrong sheet there, so sorry about that. Should be
Yeah.
2011 in that first
Yeah,
part.
I think we've just kept the sheet from last time, haven't reprinted. That's probably
okay,
the
yeah.
case.
But Michelle has done. This is the first time she's done it, and she's got the incorrect one. So I've actually posted the incorrect one. So I've got to do that.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
Have
Beth.
I got my one says?
Yeah.
Is that the wrong one?
No, that's the right one.
Oh, okay.
That's-
That one, but mine's wrong.
What's-
That said, the one that is nominally wrong actually is basically the change the melody notes for the first bar with the right bit of the thing tacked on the
Oh,
end. So
okay, yeah,
it's
right.
actually, you can still use it. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usable but wrong. I think that last one, God, that's just a bit of everything. That kind of. But what I might just do for a sec, I'm just going to use number 5 and 6, and just play. I'll try and I haven't practiced this, but I'm just going to try and play one chorus of the song. So, oh, sorry. Oh, here we go again. Take 2. 2, 3, 4. Number 7. Sorry, that was but so that I used 5, 6, and 7 kind of successfully. And then I made a mess of 8. But I'll just play it again. I'll play it again. I won't really think of which ones I'm doing. I'll just because I can't. But just see what you can hear. So 3, 4, 1. So that was, more the simpler ones, but so yeah, like because it's AABA, the first time you could play it really simple. The second time you just add in a few extra things.
I've got a question
Yeah.
that I hope doesn't open a Pandora's box, but with this approach, there's the tension between having a solo that's actually quite scripted compared to a solo that's completely unscripted. Personally, as a player, I try to go somewhere in between. But the idea of a scripted solo versus a completely unscripted solo, and the tension of that, and where you as a player, where you tend to aim with that stuff.
That's a good point, because I know you kind of listen to it, you go, oh god, it sounds like you're kind of nearly overtraining the solo, but the kind of idea is you kind of play all these, but they just kind of become part of your playing, not your thinking. Does that make sense? So you want to just have them in your bones, but not be going, okay, now I need to displace the melody note by I guess I'm back. These are kind of things that I always use and play. I'm kind of like back analysing them from from having played them and going, oh, what kind of things are they, rather than going, this is a good idea. Kind of where I'm getting.
What I'm hearing from you is that you do the drills, but you're really an instinctive player. In that you've done the drills, you've done the exercises like this stuff, but when you actually do your solo, you're instinctive. You're drawing, as you said, from your bones. You're drawing this stuff up, but
Yeah.
you're not necessarily analysing it.
No, but it's all stuff you've heard. Like all these things are just, stuff you've heard on records, and might be big band records or just hearing people play melodies. So that's where it all comes from, that kind of thing. Just
And does the melody come into your brain before your fingers? Or does it just come through your fingers at the same time? Or is it actually in your mind and then in your fingers?
Wow, that's a hard one. I don't know. They're
Are you
they're
singing
so
to yourself?
connected.
You can't overthink it.
Sorry.
No, it's not overthinking.
You can over. Yeah. I mean, if
Yeah,
you
but
concentrate too much.
I think
No, I'm not overthinking. It's
Yeah, I
actually
know,
about
'cause
his process. It's
you hear
like,
people always saying, "Oh, when you improvise, you hear what you're playing before."
exactly.
and
Yes.
I kind of reckon it's. I reckon it's like you got your brain and your fingers. Sometimes they're equal. Sometimes they play catch ups. Like there's times when your fingers just go into a well trodden path that. But then there's other times when your brain goes, oh, okay, and the fingers follow the brain. So, and it's probably different for a lot of people, but I think definitely, yeah, there's a bit of kind of chasey, the brain chasing the fingers.
Right.
But
Yeah, I think there are times like when, sometimes you don't have to try so hard, and your brain can sort of go into autopilot soloing in a sense, like where you have all these rudiments in your head that you know, and you can just sort of have them
Yeah.
as old reliable.
or you fire off a pentatonic lick that you've played 100 times, and so
Exactly.
that's when your fingers are, leading, and then yeah.
Sometimes you might have a specific idea or like a specific scale that you're like, oh, I wouldn't mind hearing that sound, and then your brain will sort of take the lead for something like that.
Yeah, but that's right. Yeah, you just the brain just kind of. I think it's great when the brain does kind of kick in, because your fingers will always know what they know, but the brain's the one that's a bit of the loose cannon. In my case, anyway.
Well, that's good. That's good. Now, do you want to try Autumn Leaves Through once before we move on to Mac the Knife? Or would you just like to move on to Mac the Knife?
Maybe we move on. Is that?
Yeah, I reckon.
We've kind of milked. We've milked that phrase. I don't think there's much else we can get out of that phrase, but like the same thing will apply a bit to Mac the Knife, because it's it's a lot of short phrases, and it just gets back to what I was saying. If you get those short phrases sounding really sweet, then you become more comfy at leaving gaps in your solos, which can be great, especially kind of just at the beginning to set things up. All right, so let's have a look at Mac the Knife, and we've got for the repeat students. We've got a new chart. We've got 2 new tunes for you today too, haven't we? John's got one, and because we gave we gave these ones a good nudge last time. Yeah, so sorry, I lost the Zoom screen. Come on. Yeah, so Mac the Knife, same kind of thing, really simple melody. Should we just, everyone got it? We'll just play it. And on the PDF, I've got a kind of simple version, and then there's a version with chords in between. But I think we'll just do the simple one. Maybe we might even do it twice through.
The only problem is that I think people might find your backing track a bit fast for a first run through.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
give it a go. I might be
okay.
wrong.
I haven't checked it. Yeah.
Can you slow it down with what you've got?
I've just got it on iTunes at the moment.
Oh, right,
yeah.
okay.
But probably
Let's
the
give it a
best
go.
thing is play along with the YouTube video of it and put it on. Is that working for everyone? The 75% thing. That's great, isn't it? It's really handy, and you don't have to go to other, apps or anything. All right, so yeah, it might be a little bit fast, but we'll see how we go. 1, 2. Oops. Wasn't ready. 1, 2. Yes. go back to the top. Oh, should we go once more? Oh, I think maybe once more. I was guessing that was the end, but yeah, it's a really it is slightly quickish, isn't it? But it is actually a really simple melody, isn't it? It's like and that's one of the really important things with that one is I reckon is making that that last note short, like, and the other thing you just tend to do without even thinking is a slide or something into the first note, like, you know, just rather than you want, yeah, it's like a slide into the first one. The second note's shortish, the third note's long, and the fourth note's short. You can even slide into that last note, but and you know, try anything else, but that's a, you know, if I was kind of applying what we did to Autumn Leaves, just adding in very minimal things, but just trying to make the melody come to life a bit. But you know, it's a nice melody on its own, but you have to kind of get that articulation happening a bit, like the long and short notes, just to give it some, like, it's kind of like you know, if you're reading a script and you go, you know, the dog went to the shop, it's the inflections, you know, the expression you put on those words that makes it interesting or not. And it's exactly the same with notes, like they all need a bit of fairy dust on them to kind of shape them. And when you have a lot of words, they need even, you know, it's like if you read a sentence out or if you get the computer to read out a sentence, it'll be very kind of robotic. But yeah, so it's the kind of inflections, and that's what our slurs and slides are. They're all those, yeah, things. It's musical diction, I guess you call it. What do you want to do? A little breakout for this one? Is that a good idea? Or
so we were talking about breaking out on this one, and yeah. So the people that have who have experienced this before, who have done Mac the Ninth before, would go with Sam, because you've already done it before, so you need a little bit more tutti frutti, a bit more spice. And then those of you that feel confident with it but haven't done it before and still feel a little over depth, they're going to go with John. And those of you that haven't done it before and need it nice and slow, you're with me. You know? So, oh shit, it's me that has to do the breakout rooms. I was just about to.
I mean, if we don't have to, but
I think it might be nice.
because everyone can play a bit, and rather than just me
Then we
talking,
can hear you and you can ask more questions.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
yeah. So there's going to be a room called Sam and a room called John, and then it's just me, okay? And so what you do is you choose the room. I'll just say it again. If you've done this before and you need a bit more tutti frutti, that's Sam. If you're confident with this but need just a little bit more spice, you're with John. And if you just want to stay nice and slow in the basics, you're with me. So choose your rooms, and I'm okay if I don't get anybody, okay? Apart from Susan.
We can all be in the same room.
Now you should be seeing, breakout, a little message that says breakout room. You can choose John, you can choose Sam, and you stay with me if you want it nice and slow and easy.
Okay. And then, how do I go to my room?
Oh, you have to wave. This is right, John. He has to wave his mouse, doesn't he, so that he gets a little breakout icon. And you have to choose. I can't. I suppose I could put you in the room yourself, actually. I'll see if I can put you in. I'll do assign to. There you go, Sam.
Okay.
And John, I'll assign you. Oh, whoa, shit. John, you're good, aren't you? Yep.
Jane, before you disappear, I can see the breakout rooms, but I can't seem to join.
That's
Me
okay.
too.
What would you? It's all right, Ruth. What would you like? Tell me, and I'll get you there.
I'll hang with Sam if that's okay.
Of course you would. Sorry, I shouldn't have even asked.
Me
Okay,
too, please.
Diane, you're the same. So I'm getting you. So in future, you just wave your mouse around, and I don't know. Actually, I think they're different on all computers. But Sam for Di. Now, anybody else need to pipe up and go to John, or anyone else? Are you okay in the room that we've got? Okay, I'm just checking. Yep, Judy's with me. That's good. Okay, right. Okay, now, so I'm just going to talk you through, well, not quite, but see this second sheet of Mac the Knife that is absolutely frightening? Did you see that? Like, I remember the first time I looked at that sheet and just went, what the? Okay. We're not going to play that, but we're going to use it, okay? Because he's got beautiful chord inversions on there that we can all use. And so what I've done with mine is, and how we're going to start, you all know how to mess with the melody. So for instance, you can hear me okay, can't you? I'm coming through all right, yeah. So, you know what I do? Hang on. So you all know how to slide, right? So that's an obvious place for you folk to start with. And also you might want to muck around with it. You know, you might want to just put a double beat on that, say that first note. That's a really easy way to do it. Okay, so I'm just, you know, if I may say so, I'm just doing beginner's guide to this song because this is still pretty challenging for me. But what I am going to recommend you do is you put in his beautiful chord inversions that are on this sheet. What I did was I wrote them in on this one. So if you can see up close, in pencil, I wrote that his lovely C6. And so what that then sounds like, that first phrase is this. You know? And so his C6, I never use this. This is what I love about Sam's class. He always gives me new chord shapes. Is 5, 4, 3, 0. So you might want to write that in, 5, 4, 3, 0. And the beautiful thing about that chord shape is that you can play the melody and the chord all with that. So, you know, it's all just there in that shape. It's a fantastic shape. Now, do you understand what I mean by that? And please tell me if you don't, because I don't want to move on. Great, excellent. That's good. I'm getting nods. So there's a beautiful, easy way. Bang, you sound like a pro already, you know? So because I'm new to improvisation, I'm the beginner's cheats way to improvise and sound good. And then same with your next phrase, I'd do the same. You know, it's just the same. I'd probably do something similar, but you've got a D minor. Now, his D minor is pretty fruity, D minor 7. He's got a 5, 2, 1, you know, back on that other sheet that I showed you. He's got a 5, 2, 1, 0. Now, that might be comfortable for you. And I quite, you know, you got to use the pinky, you know, or you just might want to do the easy D. Hang on, I've got to work out what's our highest note there. Oh, you might want to just use the easy D minor across the 5th fret. So that phrase becomes, you know, bang. Again, something that we can all manage, right? And a chord shape that we know, D minor 7. Brilliant, yeah? I'm trying to use his fruity, he's got a beautiful fruity 5, 2, 1, 0, D minor 7, and some of you have got that stretch, so you might want to try that too. And then sorry. Now, what's really nice with chords is you try and change your shape. So we've got another D minor 7. You might want to just go back to your at-home shape. And you might want to, do you know what I mean? Just go to another one. That's easy. And then he's back to C6. But this time, you can use the shape that he's done before. That's fine. Or you can use another C6. The C6 that Sam has been using with us, which is fantastic, is 5, 7, 5, 7. Now you can find all these fruity shapes on that second sheet. And you put them in, and all of a sudden you've got so much more of a palette. Can somebody give me a question or clarification, or, you know, give me a comment?
Where's that 5757 on the sheet?
Let's think. Good question. I'm just seeing. Oops. I lie. It's not there. It's a shape that is it's a shape that Sam has taught me on other songs. 5, 7, 5, 7. I think it might be an A minor 7, same as C6, you know. So it's a really beautiful shape to use, and I use that because at the end of the song we've got a C6, a C sharp diminished, a D minor 7, followed by a G7. And so I find if I use the 5, 7, 5, 7 chord shape, then I just squish it all together for the diminished, bar it across for the D minor, and do what you want for the G7, which in this case, might as well just go up to the 7th fret, right? So I hope I'm not confusing, but a really easy way to sound good is a few fruity chords that are comfortable for your fingers. We've all got different fingers, right? And so, yeah, you think of your fruity chords. And when I say fruity, I mean, you know, your minor 7s, your 6s, your add 9s and stuff. Chuck them in and you sound like a pro. Is there anybody else that would like to ask something like that? And so these songs that have got all that space. Oh, sorry. Yeah. You know, it's really it gives you plenty of time for it to chuck a chord in. Don't have to do the da da like I am. I'm just copying what Sam does. You don't. You could.
So, Jane, it's okay to do chords and little runs as well. Mix it, yeah, like he was doing previously, yeah. I presume.
And you know what? Sam's opinion, and his opinion is worth a lot more than mine, is that that's the power of the uke.
Yeah.
It's a chordal instrument. So when you're doing your solo, chuck in the lovely fruity chords that you've got, because that's what makes, this is the sort of, because I've been working with Sam a couple of times now, and his philosophy is that's what makes the ukulele solo different than, say, a trumpet solo or a fiddle solo, is those fruity chords. Even different to a guitar solo, because guitar chords can be really full, but the ukulele has got bright, tinkly chords. Yeah? So, and also really important, and where I can sometimes fall down, is mute those chords. Make them, well, maybe that's true for this genre. Make them sharp. Make them, not stabby, horrible, like loud and decking out, but just light and bright, like, and a bit of muting so that you don't get too much. So when you mute, what happens is you get a clarity of sound that a beginner might play a G like that, right? Or so they take their fingers off it, and then you've got all those other tones, it's all a bit muddy, right? Whereas a professional would sort of, would mute it and make it clean. And yeah, so today what we're doing is we're going to be basically chucking in all those melodic elements, but we're really going to rely on chords to make our stuff fruity. Is that all right? Is everybody okay with that? And I don't want to talk too much if somebody else has got a question. Great, Judy.
If you had a piece of music that only had basic chords in it and those spaces, if you're going to fill them with those fruity chords, for example, if it's, say, just got a C, do you then throw in the C6 instead of the C, or is that what you do?
This is a great question, and this is what Mark and I struggle with a lot. And that is, so if you're in blues, a C7, a C6, a C add 9 is great. If you're in jazz, C6, you've got to be careful. C major 7s, and then when we're in country, C5s, when you're doing folk, C sus2, C sus4. And this is where you play, as in child play. This is the play of music. You find your song and you work out which fruity chords you want to use. So I'll just say that again. This is please, I'm 101 beginner improviser, okay? 101 chords. But in general, folk, sus2, sus4s, lovely, blues, of course, 7s and 9s. Jazz, 6 major 7s, major 7 9s, major, right? And rock, 5s, bluegrass, 5s. You drop the 3. So that's the fun stuff for you, even though it feels a bit overwhelming. And sometimes you've got to let your ear tell you what it is. So I'm doing a song at the moment that I absolutely love. It's a country song on the piano, and I cannot put anything in there but the basic chord. Everything else sounds wrong because it's a country song and it's meant to be straight. Very, very straight country song. So it's a really good question, Judy. And it opens up another Pandora's box, that question. Do you want to reply to that?
No, thanks, Jane. That's really interesting. That's what I was trying to work out where you would draw those from. Yeah.
It's tough, and yeah, I find it tough, and that's why Martin, you wanted to ask something before. Have you lost it, or you've still got it in your brain? What it was?
No, it was just to do with the two PDF sheets. They're both reflecting the same thing, aren't they? The second one's a chord melody.
Mm-hmm.
Going to that second to last bar at the bottom, where you suggested putting a 5/7, 5/7, he's actually called that a C sharp diminished, the same as the next chord.
Yeah, it's a
But
typo.
his finger, so that should be C6, shouldn't it?
It should be a C6. Yeah, I just spotted it then myself. Actually, I went, "Oops, it should be a C6." Yeah.
Yeah, and you're suggesting play the diminished as our normal kind of postcode instead of the one that he's got there with that 5/7.
You know what? I just find that easier because Sam's got such a fantastic stretch.
Yeah.
But if you've got the stretch, I like what Sam's doing too. You know, there's no. It's just that that last one, the D-7 sus4 is a little bit, for me, I'm a bit patchy on getting that nicely. Yeah, but you know, that's up to you. If you're getting that really well, that's you know, and what Sam's doing there is he's raising the tones up, whereas mine was lowering the tones. So
yeah. And he's playing with a low G string, so he's got a slightly ascending whatever the low note is. It's not, it is the tonic actually, isn't it? That's ascending there.
See, there you go. Yeah. He's actually playing the tonic on the low G.
And ascending it.
Exactly. And that's where his skill is coming through, that his ear has chosen that, you know, to have that low G with the tonic. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And that it takes great skill. The whole, what chords you use and what sort of flavors of chords, major sevens, add nines, etc. That's the skill. That's a lifetime of learning. And choosing the right chords for the sort of song you've got. And so sometimes I'll go to, when we've got ukulele music, I will sometimes or very often go to the original sheet music to make sure that we're not missing out on some lovely chord flavors, you know, because, you know, ukulele music, it's all C, F, and G. It's all 1, 4, 5, you know.
Yeah. No, it's clever because the anchor note is that the G on the E string, which is the 5th of the C6, and it becomes the 7th of the D-7th, and to actually end on the tension, it shifts it from a 5th to a tension note.
Yes. Yeah, and that stuff is complex. You use your ear, you use your music theory like you've just done. It's a bag of, the
James Hill music theory. The bass note determines what the chord is.
Absolutely. And for you as players, you determine whether you're going to have a bass player with you, and that really determines your inversion. So I have different chords for if I'm playing with a bass player or if I'm not. And generally, if I'm playing with a bass player, don't do the root, because he or she has got it. Sorry, you probably didn't want to know that. So if you've got a low G, you know, just keep, if you're playing by yourself, if you're a soloist, you keep your roots in. If you're playing with a bass player, you can drop them. You don't have to worry about them. So that's sort of fun too. Now I'm going to call us back, but we'll still have another minute to discuss. And I hope that helped. I didn't get a chance to listen to you, but I think it's more important that you understand the palette that you can choose from, and that, Any other questions?
We're back.
Yo, Was that all right timing for you, Sam?
It was perfect. Yeah, everyone had a play, and we
I
rabbited
must
on a
confess,
bit.
I talked too much. I didn't let anybody play.
It's good. It's funny. The sound goes a bit weird sometimes because there's a bit of lagging here and there. I'm not quite sure why that was, but no, it's good. It's good to hear her. And
Cool.
we lost we lost John's group. They're going
Yeah,
down.
I'm wondering where they are. Oops.
Hello.
Oh, cool.
Sam, I'll get back to you with a resource for that because I can't remember what it's called, but I will find that for you and send it to you.
Right, okay, thanks.
No problem. All right.
Something that we'll never know about. That's something.
Yes, exactly.
That's something
It's a
you have to be
mystery.
in John's group to know.
That's right. You all wish you were in John's group.
Yeah.
Just to know what resource we're talking about. Ooh-ah.
Can we play the song one more time, but super slow, just with you, Sam?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All we really did in our group is we just went over those 4 notes. We went slide short, slide short. That's kind of basically all we did.
Nice.
So rather than kind of, which is nothing, we went slide short, just.
In our group, we talked about the fruity chords.
Oh, yeah, great. We put some of those, yeah, but yeah, we can play it really, really slowly.
Yeah, can you maybe if you lead us,
Yeah,
we'll just play along with you.
out there.
Everybody mute up.
A 1, a 2, or 1, 2. And again. Once more for good luck. Big finish. It's such a great tune to play. Like, it's one of those ones you just got to enjoy. Like, it's good to just enjoy the kind of sparseness of it, which they're often really quite terrifying to play because there is so little notes to it. But the kind of more articulation and stuff you get into those notes, the more you can just kind of relax on it, the more of a statement they make. But anyway, great. Well, should we move on?
Yeah. So what we might do is we might do 10 minutes of Dream in My Dreams with you.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes on Perfidia, or 10 to, yeah. So, John, if you wouldn't mind leading on the Dream a Little Dream of Me, excuse me. And sorry, I'm wrong on the time. If you got just about 12 or 13 minutes on that, because we've gone a little bit over on Mac the Knife.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh, Mark's
Oh, that's
here.
Mark.
Oh, shh, here's Mark.
Everyone
Yeah.
be quiet.
Yeah. Pretend.
He might learn about soloing.
It's good to have someone. You need a fall guy, don't you? In these situations, it's good to have the
Oh, all right, yeah. So if you guys could pull out your "Dream a Little Dream of Me" copies, I wrote this up just the other day. There are two versions of it. There's one super secret version that you're not allowed to have because it's too hard.
Because they weren't in the John room.
That's right. If you're in the John room, you get access to lots of super secret cool stuff. This is the nice easy version or easier version. So I guess there's a couple of things to look at here. A lot of what makes this song super interesting to me is the harmony behind it, I think. And so I like to think about what other notes are in the chords that I'm playing that are playing underneath when I'm trying to add extra notes to a melody or to a solo or something. And it's nice to see like where the melody sits within the chords that you're playing too, because there's especially with jazz tunes, there's a lot of like nice surprises that pop up, especially when stuff is non-diatonic. I mean, you get a very certain feeling when the first couple of chords go straight out of the key when you have the G to G diminished to E flat 7 to D7. Like, it's a very unique progression, and yet still the melody remains like really catchy and diatonic. So I guess probably the best thing to do for now would to be just have a little play through it, I suppose. I don't have a backing track, but I can play some chords for you and try and sing it a little bit so that you can hear how the melody goes. And we won't go through the whole thing, but...
And John, actually, sorry, we do have a backing track.
Oh, that's good.
On the web page, one's slow and one's at pace. But for now, let's just... Are you hearing my echo?
Yeah, that's because Mark was unmuted. It's fixed now.
Mark. Yeah, so we do have backing tracks for it. It's cool, slow and fast, but I think it'd be nice if you just played the chords for us, although people might not be aware of the melody all that well. Okay,
well, let me play through the melody a bit for you first
so
you can hear.
Fortunately, our demographic, most of us remember it.
That was sort of my hope with this one. But yeah, so I'll do a little playthrough of the melody just so you can hear it. And if there's any particular tricky bits, I'll point them out. We only really need to do... Maybe the first two sections are probably what we'll do, because there's like a point I want to make later. Anyway, here I go. This is how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 4, 1. 1. 4. Okay. One little thing to point out there, actually two things. You've got that E7 where the 4th fret comes in. That's a really nice bit. Especially if you're improvising over that, you've got a lot of new note choices that pop in there. And also the little triplet there on the A-7 flat 5. Which is actually pretty much just going over the chord shape, almost at least. There's the A-7 flat 5, and I'm just going, holding those middle two strings down. So that's just a little fast bit that pops in. But let's move on to the A2 section, which is almost exactly the same, but the rhythms change ever so slightly. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay. So my hope with this is if you can look at these two different sections, you can sort of see how even how it's been written out sort of gives you some different options in terms of like there are different ways to do pretty much the same thing, you know, with different rhythms and all that. Even that very first line is different in both of those. The first one goes for 1. Only a little bit of syncopation, but the second one goes for 1. It's got that little bit of an extra weight on the once you get to the E flat 7. And then also with the A minor to C to A minor 7 flat 5 to C minor, you have this really fun 4 1. You have that fun fast triplet, and then another really slow triplet right after it. And it's using basically the same notes as the first time, but it's sort of slowing it down and extending it a bit to make it fresh and new. So yeah, those are probably the important bits in what we're doing. And if you look on later to the B section, it actually changes key, which is fun. It goes from G to E major. And it's basically the same melody, but in a new spot. So you've got the... So that's just some other fun ideas you can mess around with. So yeah, any questions about any of that, I suppose, is probably the next step. Anyone have anything?
I was just going to say, it's a great melody. It's so, all these phrases in there are kind of, these are great ones to learn and just, you know, eventually steal.
Absolutely.
And it kind of uses all those things that they did in Autumn Leaves, but there's kind of longer phrases. So like every version I've heard of this, they sing it or play it, the phrasing's different. Like you can never, you know.
That's true. There's so many ways to do it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's a great one to work on. Yeah.
And another great thing, like, obviously this isn't a very diatonic song in terms of the chords, and that makes it quite unique when it comes to, you know, playing these kinds of songs. But no song is totally unique in the chords it chooses. And so where this can be really helpful to you is it can kind of give you an idea of, you know, if you're playing in G and suddenly an E7 pops up, what do you even do with that, you know? And so here's an example of something that you could actually do, you know? You go up to the 4th fret and the 1st fret and, you know, borrow stuff from there. Yeah. Craig, did you have a question?
Question?
Yes, John. Just the with that A minor 7 B flat 5. What's the postcode for that one?
Postcode is 2333, or at least that's one of the postcodes. I'm sure there's plenty of others, but that's the easiest one, I thought.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Oh, and Kathy's got a chart up for it. I can see the shape. Is that lots of different shapes for it?
Okay, got it.
Ah, dictionary. Excellent. All right. Well, yeah, I might play the chords for you so you can have a go. And don't feel restricted to the rhythms I've given you. Like, feel free to mess around with that. Because I think that's kind of the point. You don't want to feel like you have to copy it exactly. These are obviously inspiration for you, but as long as you can keep on seeing it in your head, then you're kind of free to push and pull as much as you want, and experiment with adding other notes in as well. You know, when you're on that G diminished chord, obviously it's hitting an F sharp, but you've also got a B flat and a C sharp and an E. Like, you've got a lot of options for places to go within a chord and then also within whatever scale. So yeah, just have a mess around and I'll play you some chords.
And can I just ask, has anyone else learnt that B section from the note G? Is it just that I've always been on a harmony part whenever I've done that? Because I want to go up to a G really badly at that point. Like, your chord structure's fine, but I want to go stars fading when I linger on you, not
Yeah, I'm the same, Steph. Yep.
Oh, thank goodness.
There you go. I wonder
It's
if
messing with
maybe
my brain.
I wonder if maybe there are versions where instead of it jumping up.
Yeah, there are versions where it doesn't change key.
There you go. So it just jumps
But-
up an octave instead.
I think, but the chords are right. So it is that it does change key.
Okay.
It does change key.
You'll have-
Key is a harmony, not the melody.
You'll have to be in John's group next week, Steph, so that you get the secret hard version.
I was in John's group. I'm still waiting for it.
There is actually the original version actually goes to E flat instead of E. It's like,
Is that right?
yeah,
It doesn't.
it's like really
It changes from G to E flat.
Yeah, instead of E. But the mamas and papas did the E one. But it can be really dangerous if you're playing it with singers and you haven't checked which one they do.
That sounds like it.
Always check with the singers.
Always check.
Oh dear. The other thing that could be happening potentially, in the hard version, the first time it does like the A1 section, it's down here. But then it jumps up and goes the second time around. So who knows? There's a there's a lot of options for it. Anyway, I will play you some chords and have a little go at it. Ready?
And John, what
Please.
we do 2 A's and a B? What will you do? 2 A's, a B, and a B? 2 A's, B, A, or what will you do?
Yeah, I might just go A1, A2, B, A3. We won't do the repeats because that'll make it very long. And just remember, if you're branching outside of the key or outside of the melody in the B section, it's changed to E major. So make sure you are hanging around that instead of G major if you're messing around. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Dun, dun, ba, dun, dun. Da, 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 do. Dun, dun, da, 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 da. 2, 3, 4. Here's the key change. Back to G. All right.
Such a beautiful tune. Such a pleasure to play.
Isn't it fun, huh? It's a really enjoyable one. I enjoyed writing it out.
Good. I'm glad. That
How'd
was lovely.
everyone go with that? Any comments or questions about how that all went?
Good, Judy.
I'm not sure who said it was our generation's song, but for me it was a conception song, what I call one of those ones you hear in utero, and then came back again when you're a young adult and keeps coming back.
Yeah, agreed.
I could hear all the different versions happening there. We'd changed to the new key, and I thought, hang on, yeah, I'm with you, Steph. It just went, but I just stuck to what was here.
Oh, interesting.
There's a very nice Robbie Williams and Lily Allen version of it, which is worth a listen to.
I haven't heard that. That sounds fun.
I don't know that one. Yeah.
No, I think I based mine off the Louis and Ella version, which I enjoyed a lot. But also, most of it I stole from like a version someone put up for solo piano on the Muse Score, score sharing website. And so it was fun transferring all that over from piano. That's another good point, actually, is you can take a lot from other instruments when it comes to soloing. There's a lot of ideas in this that I would never have thought of if it hadn't come from piano first. So yeah, different instruments have different physicalities, which will give you new ways to play.
Hey, I vote for more Ella stuff. Bring on the Ella.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say that's the tune I've played a lot, and it's whenever you do a solo, it's one that you just kind of basically stick to the melody, because it kind of sounds weird to go off and it's such a great melody to kind of pilfer off. But so it's this is one where you really just embellish the melody, and you maybe a little odd phrase here and there, but especially the beginning going that kind of, and a few little chord bits in there. But yeah, no, it's great.
Lovely.
But tricky tune. It's not an easy tune. So yeah.
There's a lot of curveballs at you.
John, it's not an easy tune, okay?
So sorry.
No, it's quite tricky, that phrasing, isn't it? It's like, it's good, that the triplets and stuff.
Yeah. That's very fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Let's move on to Perfidia, because this is the pretty light tune.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, it's another lovely tune. A beautiful tune that's been written out by Sam. I'll hand it over to you, Sam.
All
And we
right.
might just go 5 minutes over, folks.
Yeah, I mean, it's we can just kind of play it, and we can always. It's fairly straightforward. It's got, none of the phrasing's that tricky, but I've put a little intro, a little vamp into it, just for. It's got a little. Oh look! That's the little vamp, just kind of, it's something you can just do till you're ready for the melody to come in. And a good thing, it's just the same shape moved up 2 frets. And the main melody's very much in the scale, just kind of. It's got a few of those crotchet triplets that John had in Dream a Little Dream of Me. But yeah, it's funny, the first phrase is simple, the second one builds on that. Mate, should we just try that first phrase together, like the first 3 bars? Yeah. So, actually, the first 4 bars. So we'll do the pickup, which is 2, 3, 4, 1. So, sorry, I'm starting at the very end of bar 4, after the intro, just the last note, and then going straight into bar 5 and doing. So I'll count into that last beat of bar 4. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, and 1, and again 2, that's the kind of basis of that of the whole A section. Should I just play it once through with the backing track just to get an overall, and just follow as long, and then we can kind of break it down a little bit. It's quite slow too. It's not too. The second bit, there's just quite a lot of notes, but they're all fairly repetitive. But yeah, it's a really nice melody to play. All right, here we go. Oh, no count in. Sorry. 'em. It's a pretty beautiful song to play. It's kind of, and it's one of those ones that's just nice just to really play the melody. Ooh. Medley. Just to kind of enjoy that simple medley, melody, and all those little slides and short note things. Sorry, Jane?
Sorry, yeah, and what I was going to prompt, and I suppose you're getting there anyways, is how do we mess with this? How would you recommend messing with this one?
I like when you get the more notes you've got in the melody, the kind of harder it is to mess with it in a way. Like those short phrases, you can add, like these are all eighth notes, so you can't really add in. But you know, you don't want to add in notes because it gets too busy. But so instead of going, you can definitely add something into that, and it's there's so many long gaps. It's a great one for. I think I normally play that kind of thing. Just a little extra note where, see, most of the notes are quavered, so you haven't really got a lot of time, but where you get a whole note, that's a really obvious place to, but when you got longer notes, oh sorry, yeah, someone got a...
I was just going to ask, can you mess with it by dropping notes when there's already a profusion of notes?
Yeah, great. Yeah, absolutely.
How would you do that?
Good question.
Next week will do.
Yeah. So,
Well, every triple note can be reduced to one. Like you've got, you know.
Yeah.
Three
having
Ds
said
and
it,
then three Bs.
because what I was going to say is often when you got a lot of notes, I tend to go for the keep the shape, change the notes kind of thing, because it's, but definitely the that kind of things, and wasn't a great example, but of doing less notes, kind of. Just chopping out some of the.
It's what I'm hearing, Sam, is someone could play a duet with it, like two people playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great one.
It feels like that song, you one phrase and someone does another little one, then you've to.
Yeah, because you've got that little intro thing. You can actually play that through underneath the melody, so you can go. And the melody's going on top of that, kind of a counter melody, but definitely just putting in some little chords in those gaps. Just extending the phrases at the end a little bit.
Sounded like you were trying to push in a little bit of a bend when the melody was ascending.
Yeah, just but it's funny. This is another one of those melodies that you definitely mess with it in terms of phrasing, but you kind of keep it. There's so much in it. It's just nice to really kind of keep it pretty simple. And,
it would make a great medley with Beyond the Sea as well, Sam, because there's a lot of very similar notes.
Same, yeah, right. The first two notes are the same, aren't they?
Sam, maybe next week could you do a little bit on trills?
Oh,
yeah. That would be good. Yeah.
Actually, another great one for this one is kind of leading up to that. So you play the first time. So you're putting kind of 5 or 6 notes before that, the long note. All that. But yeah, that's a really sweet melody to play, and it's a cha-cha, which is always good.
We might leave it there, folks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sam and John. I love all those 4 tunes. They're just beautiful. And your homework, if you choose to do it, it's okay not to do it, is to I think it's just to mess with the melody in it on any of those. Now, I think Sam, we might need a slower track of Mac the Knife and Perfidia, backing track.
Oh, okay,
yours is quite at a pace, and there are some people that might need it a little slower.
Maybe I'll put them. Is it good having the backing tracks as YouTube videos, so then you can slow them, and then they're all kind of in the same spot?
Perfect.
Rather than having backing tracks and.
Yeah, perfect.
Does that get that? Because I can do that. I'll just.
Thanks.
And then I'll just do them at the normal speed, and then you do them at 75. Is that okay?
The trouble is that YouTube is a bit of a blunt instrument because it's quite a big jump down from 100% down to 75%.
You can actually use there's a custom button, so you can change it to whatever you like.
Is there really? I didn't know that. Thanks for that. You learn something every day. Thank you.
I didn't know that either.
No, I didn't know that either. Great.
It's 75, 50 and 25 or whatever. There's a custom, custom
So you could go 85 or something. Yeah.
83 if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. That would. Yeah.
That's really useful. I'm gonna have
Just
to
changed my
learn
life
about
there.
that.
Thanks very much.
Thank you,
Same
Al.
here. Yeah. Thanks, Al.
Yeah, thanks
Oh, yeah.
everyone. That was a good, we covered quite a lot today. Lots of.
Lovely.
It was lovely.
Thank you.
We'll do it all again next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, thanks everybody. It was lovely. It was really nice. I love the tunes. The tunes are so beautiful.
Fabulous.
Yeah, so do I. Thank you, Sam.
Yes.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. Bye bye.
And everyone enjoyed that. Great tunes.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. See you later. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Kathy, where do you put the notes?